Wait, what? A new Fire Emblem spinoff? I gotta check that out. The out-of-the-blue release of Fire Emblem Shadows last year definitely caught me by surprise, and I initially was excited to try the mobile spinoff out. Once I started reading more about it though, my excitement was dampered a bit. The gameplay sounded kinda confusing and like a wild departure from how the main series is. It did not sound like a Fire Emblem game at all. And while not objectively bad, the character design was, well, not really up my alley, and I was definitely not the target audience there. As a fan of the series though, I still was eager to try it, for better or for worse, and see if it would overcome the skepticism I had. One of the best ways to describe the gameplay is humorously like Among Us, but it's more complicated and not as exciting. The game is an auto-battler and has your character doing their own thing, but you can use spells on a timer to influence the battle. You get paired up with 2 other random players online and have to play 2 rounds together. The first round you have to fight some enemies together. However, one person, which can be you or one of your allies, is secretly an imposter, trying to sabotage the other 2 from succeeding. After you finish the first round, you have to guess who the imposter is, and if the light side players guess correctly, they get an extra life. The second round then has the 2 light side players fight the imposter and his minions to see who ends up winning the battle overall. There's a lot of customization in the game though. You can choose from a selection of characters, surprisingly most of which are original, but there are a few familiar faces in there at the start, and I know several more have been added since I played, and I imagine they'll just keep adding more. You can equip a variety of spells to every character in addition to their own special one, and you can choose what weapons they wield as well. Despite the complicated nature of the premise and gameplay, matches go by extremely quickly. Too quickly in my opinion. The lack of control you have over your character, and the speed at which everything happens, always had me a bit disoriented, and I was often struggling to keep up. This feels like the opposite of what I like in Fire Emblem, as I enjoy the slow-paced and methodical nature of its strategy that allows me to go at my own speed. There isn't any way to communicate with the other players too, besides your actions. So I feel like that very much hinders the social aspect they were going for and the deception-based gameplay. The game just feels like an odd juxtaposition of trying to do a lot, but also trying to keep it short and simple, and the combo just didn't work well for me. The story did not really hook me at all either. I liked how they split it up into the light side and shadow side, but it didn't feel very well executed. The light side story was pretty much just running from the bad guys and trying to figure out who the imposter in the group was. The shadow side felt very disjointed and was more of a behind-the-scenes story of the light side story, versus its own storyline. It felt too simple and not enough, which makes sense since it was just only Chapter 1 available when I played it, so it may get better over time, but what I tried just failed to draw me in. The story also felt very disconnected from the gameplay, as you unlock the story as a reward for playing, and besides a few exceptions, the battles never have any association with the story. Even though I am a bit harsh on it, I don't hate this game. I actually did have some fun playing it, particularly when I was able to successfully deceive my opponents as the imposter. It seemed most people, and even the game itself, didn't expect me to attack myself, so I felt I was actually pretty good in that role, especially since there really isn't much you can do to deceive your opponents. That said, I'm not sure if I will play more of this. Maybe if I hear the gameplay gets more to it in the future, or if the story does improve later on. But for now, I feel like I've definitely had my fill. I'm glad I tried it as a fan of the series, and I hope for those of you who do like it that the game will keep going and get better. And I don't think it's necessarily a bad game, messy for sure, but if it does sound like something you're interested in, you should give it a go, especially since it's free. But at the end of the day, I don't really think this is a game for me, and I'm okay with that. Thank you all for watching. If you're interested in eventually seeing more Fire Emblem from me, or just any of my other videos in general, you should definitely smash that subscribe button. Hope to see you all more soon.
Ah! You're kidding. How?